So this is so out of my wheelhouse as far as like internet lore and culture, but I've been seeing it even on my Twitter feed just nonstop that iDubbbz made a content cop video on H3H3.
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of people are hating it. And this seems like the kind of thing you would know a lot more about. Can you give us kind of the gist and why they hate him? Should we hate him?
I don't know if you should hate him. I don't really hate iDubbbz. I feel like it's more like a disappointment thing. It's like growing up, and
I don't like that he tried to sandbag Sam Hyde and then he got
I feel like for millions of people, it's like growing up and realizing like your older brother has been like sucking penis for a long time or something, or like just like swallows like cum or like something gay, just something gay. It's just like something like gay like that. I don't know.
I'm not following.
No, those are
Sucking
really
penis or swallowing cum. Basically, iDubbbz. Actually, Woody, let's talk about the cum.
No, so iDubbbz came out of retirement to make a new content cop. I watched the first 20 minutes of it before I decided I'm really not into internet drama that much. And that's where it stopped. The Reddit stuff I saw seemed to really like it. They thought iDubbbz was some sort of like, I don't know,
that's
hero
Reddit.
coming back to save us. That's Reddit. And it's also not very many Reddit comments. Like, I don't know, I read 6.
So the reason why the Redditors like iDubbbz is because iDubbbz is pro-Palestine, right? He's fighting in favor of Palestine, and he's friends with Hasan Piker, and Hasan Piker is in the video with all of Hasan's like Twitch friends. The reason why I don't like this video is because I remember how Content Cop used to be when I was like in late middle school, early high school. That's when Content Cop was coming out, like 2015 to 2018, like that 3-year period. That's when they were coming out, and they were great. Like Woody, I don't know if you've seen the old ones, but this new one, you have
3 of them, maybe.
Okay, that's probably
I've seen a couple of the old ones. Yeah.
So if you guys have seen those and you remember them, you would probably agree that what he put out is like not really a content cop. It's a far cry from what he used to do. What he used to do was like an event. It was like, now the biggest like YouTube drama, whatever criticism videos you see, they get like 1 million views. iDubbbz would drop videos back in the day and get 30 million views shitting on one guy. It was like an event. It was a mass cyberbullying event. Everybody would gather around, get their popcorn, and fucking hate this one dude. And the best part is that they were really funny. They were high effort. He'd have all these like skits that kind of felt like Jackass, Bam Margera. He'd be like running around in a cop outfit, skateboarding, driving cars around, tackling people. He would have like all these like cool sort of metatextual themes, like for the Rice Gum one, he had like the 7 deadly
jump
sins.
in for a second?
Yeah.
So he put on the cop outfit at the start of the video and it didn't fit anymore. He was like trying to pull it down over his belly. It was pretty funny. Like, oh, this whole thing.
That was funny. But the skit was so shitty. It was just him alone in his room putting on the outfit. But in the old ones, it would be like him running around with like Max Mofo, like jumping on his back or anything for views. And they were really funny videos. That was the main part. It wasn't that like the criticism was so good. They were just really funny. Like for the whole video about Leafy, I feel like half the video was spent talking about his chin. Or for the whole video about Rice Gum, it was like half it was like Asian jokes and shit like that. Like it was very funny. The most recent one is like, Ethan, you shouldn't have said that about Israel because Israel's bad and Palestine's good. Like, I just don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't want to see this guy talk about that. No, it's not funny. It's not funny. I don't want to hear about this. I don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, and also like the old ones, like they, he was trying. This one is like, he puts on the cop outfit and then he's just sitting in his room like this, like, so Ethan, turns out my editor called your wife a cunt. Not a very nice thing, but anyway, you shouldn't have said this about Benjamin Netanyahu. It's just like, I don't care. It's not what I want to see from him. It's not what I want to see from him.
I guess what happened is H3, is that his name? He's been pro-Israel pretty strongly on his podcast, but anyone who criticizes his point of view gets called anti-Semitic. And that seemed to be the point that iDubbbz was making for 20 minutes straight. That I was like, all right, I think I get the gist of this.
It's like, this could have been an email. Like,
right.
Yeah. But like after watching the video, I was just so like, I don't know. It felt so childish and it didn't feel fun. It didn't feel fun. That's what made the old ones
less
good.
Childish if he gave somebody piggyback rides like he did.
Yes. That would have been less childish for sure. What's childish? What's childish is screaming about Israel and Palestine online at Ethan Klein and pretending that it matters. What's adult? Okay. What's mature is fighting Keemstar with the black dude in the sewer and having pickles. Okay. And the popcorn. That was excellent. That was excellent. Okay. Yeah. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, it's a little rug pulley to be like, hey, remember this series that 10 years ago was very funny, high effort? Well, we're titling it the same, but it's basically me mad or like trying to scold people for not having my opinions. It's like, well, this is kind of it's like if the first episode of the next season of Sunny was like a debate about like a full sincere debate about like gun control instead of trying to make it jokes and like a plot line with Frank being a bit silly and then the gang being a bit silly. Like you'd be like, oh, you got me. Like
they did that
this isn't Sun. That's what I'm saying is they, got their little opinions out there and said their piece, but it wasn't about that as much as it was a vehicle for the humor. Like that's
what I liked was they told
good.
the truth. There was the part where Dee and what's Dee's brother? I'm spacing.
Dennis.
Dee and Dennis were of the mindset that it's easy to get one of these mass murder devices. You just go in and get it, and then they try to do that, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, I'd like a mass murder weapon. Your most high capacity assault rifle." And they're like, "Okay, you haven't ever been convicted of a crime or been committed to a mental institution, have you?" And they're both like, they get fucking carded and they can't get the fucking gun. And then when they go try to buy it on the black market and the guy wants like triple and they threaten him. And then suddenly they realize that all the good gun owners like put a stop to that immediately. If anything, it was pro-gun. It ended up being pro-gun.
Yeah.
And still funny.
But regardless, yeah, exactly. But that little storyline was a vehicle for their jokes and their humor. And so like it's still
the main thing is that it's funny. Like I think that everyone can appreciate something, whether or not it comes from some other perspective, as long as it's like funny, as long as it's like entertaining.
Sure.
Like, I wouldn't really call myself a liberal, but I do like Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart has been very funny. Like he's had a lot of jokes that have really hit, and it's not because I agree with his opinion, but it's because he says it in a way that I'm like, oh, that's like, he knows what funny is supposed to be, or he knows like
as
what
opposed
a joke
to John
is.
Oliver, who doesn't know what funny is.
I have not seen a clip of him being funny. That's true.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
like either of them lately.
That guy's got some rough delivery.
And I feel like that's like what iDubbbz is caught up in. I think that he's like very joyless and unfunny, and it's just hard to watch him. But back in the day, he was like the funniest dude around. And whether or not I agree with what he said, I honestly didn't really give a shit because he just said it in such a funny way and presented it in such an interesting way. And he's not doing that anymore.
It looks like the pretty split on his dislike, 254,000 up, 247,000 down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
not great for a YouTube video, though. Most of the people that watch your video, you act like, opinions are divided, but a 50% like ratio.
It's not great. You're right. It's pretty rough.
It's not a general election. It's more like a poll of people who know you, how they feel. It's like, oh no,
right.
This is bad.
Yeah, they're voting there on their opinions. Like,
well, that's a shame.
A lot of them probably didn't even watch.
The Israeli-Palestinian thing, like you said, like nothing we say is going to change the outcome. Sometimes I have to stop and remind myself of that. Like, wait a minute, why am I even like spending so much time on this? It's not like I get to decide,
right?
Like I'll spend a lot of effort trying to get to the root of like who's right and who's wrong on an issue, and then I'll stop and say, wait, fuck, you don't get to pick. And the worst part is, I think the people who do get to decide don't spend as much time as I do trying to get to the bottom of it. They're like,
I believe you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it'll really bother me. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like this looks bad, but that looks bad, and war is war, and I'm poring over it. I'm looking at historical stuff. I'm reading about Japan and China and the U.S. occupations and how they handled that, and I'm just like, I don't think our leaders care nearly as much as I do what happens over there, and if it's right or wrong, rather. Like maybe they care, but they don't care about the right or wrong of it. I don't know what the right or wrong of it is still with the Israeli-Palestinian thing. I know what my friends think, though.
Which is why I've landed on, let's just stay out of it.
I don't have all my friends are on one side of the fence, except I only got one friend who's no, they're all on the same side of the fence. Yeah.
Well, like Fish is the most understandable person ever with why he's on that side, because Fish is a guy we're friends with in our Discord, and his family's from Lebanon, and so like someone who just like hates Israel because they're too online or whatever, or just consuming all that, they'll start bringing it up, and then he will be in the chat and be like, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Like someone in our hangout goes, like just reading news one month, goes, oh, looks like Iran or the Houthis, someone just fired rockets into Israel, and immediately Fish was like, let's go, like and someone was like, what the fuck, and he's like, dude, I'm from Lebanon, my parents just lost their house. My uncles just lost their house. It's like, all right, I guess you know somebody who lost their house.
Well, I mean, that's like the most annoying thing about like the internet conversation is like people who treat it so seriously that think that they're moving the needle, when what it really is just people like professing how right they are about whatever side they believe in, and like, you know, they get their internet clout or whatever from it.
Except
I have full
confidence. Important people, and we're actually right.
Well, you guys have Netanyahu's ear, obviously, so he is listening to you guys.
He's a big fan of the show. I think he's in the Patreon.
When you say like, I really like that opera, I really like that little daddy. You know, he's avoiding.
We're losing you.
Yeah, you're too robot-y. I can't make out your words.
As soon as I start talking about the Jews, as soon as I start talking about the Jews,
pattern does seem to fit.
This is the second time.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the fucking content cop thing, but
I didn't know it was so widely disliked. I feel like that like-dislike ratio tells me that my opinion, which was kind of like, I thought it was high effort. He found so many clips of Ethan like saying things that, you know, like, you're anti-Semitic if you think I'm wrong kind of content that Ethan was putting up. And I'm like, man, he found all that footage, put it together, sort of made a point. It's not bad, but I guess I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's been like a kind of, or at least it, you know, and I don't have my finger on the pulse, but it seems like his public perception's been going down ever since that Sam Hyde, like almost dueling iDubbbz. Yeah. The dueling documentaries they had where, you know, iDubbbz was trying to sandbag Sam Hyde. And Sam believed it was because iDubbbz was beginning his like, you know, I'm not edgy anymore. I'm like progressive. And like, he thought that would be like if you could skewer someone as big, you know, there are a lot of right-wing people like Sam Hyde that would like ingratiate you to this. And then like, he just got punked, just absolutely dominated by Sam the whole time, where he's like, hey Sam, I'm here to make the documentary. And Sam's like already sweaty and out of breath, like, perfect, we're gonna go fight under a bridge. And then just takes him out of his comfort zone. At the end, he's like confronting him and being like, Ian, you thought that crackhead I hired was my girlfriend? Are you fucking serious? I get all kinds of pussy, dude.
Remember the thing about the wasps? Wasn't there something about the wasps? Like there was a pile of wasps.
Yeah, he like posted his plan to like just have the entire situation be upsetting, and it wasn't even in the video. He just posted it on his Twitter. Sam did, and it was killing me because he's like, these were our ideas. We didn't do all of them on how to make it just as uncomfortable, but not so overtly that he leaves. And it's like huge amount of dead wasps on the table. No one addresses it. If it's brought up, you say things like it is what it is. A borderline dangerous amount of ball bearings freely on the hardwood floor. Tell him to watch his step, like all
tell him to watch.
Just all sorts.
Did he do that one?
I don't remember if he did the ball bearings one.
Okay.
He did do the fake, the crackhead girlfriend, which was very, very funny.
In my chat, when I'm struggling with a boss and just getting my ass kicked in a game, they're all like, Woody, you're thinking Lamborghini, and you need to think Ferrari. That's not helping.
Dude, that was so funny. Like 5 minutes into meeting Sam. And like I met Sam at that trip with Harley a year and a half or so ago. He's a big dude, like, and so he's a 6'5" guy that wears 2-inch lifts and boots, and so he's enormous. And so to like get in a little tiny Miata with him that's stick shift and be like, Sam, I've never driven stick shift before, and then be earnestly asking for help as you're scared on the road, and Sam is smoking a cigar next to you going like, do I shift it this way?
Maybe a slingshot.
Yeah, it was a slingshot. And he's like, am I doing the shifting right? He's like, no, you're not thinking Ferrari. Like, just really upsetting him. That was funny.